Welcome to Locked and Loaded Sports. It's time to lock in, load up, and win big. If you're serious about sports and love cashing in on solid picks, hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and let's get to work. In this video, we will discuss Week 17 NFL picks for every game on the Sunday slate using a blend of historical data, advanced sports analytics, and real-world sentiment to deliver sharp and sometimes contrarian betting picks. As the NFL calendar turns to Week 17, we shift our focus to Paycor Stadium, where two teams on similar paths prepare to battle for pride in the final stretch of the 2025 season. The Cincinnati Bengals entered this contest following a statement victory in Miami that reminded the league exactly what this offense can do when Joe Burrow is healthy and protected. Coming off a 4-touchdown performance, Burrow has looked every bit the franchise cornerstone, showing remarkable chemistry with Chase Brown, who has emerged as a dual-threat nightmare for opposing coordinators. While the Bengals have struggled to find consistency at home this year, their recent momentum suggests they have finally found their rhythm, especially with an offensive line that is playing its best football of the December stretch. Across the field, the Arizona Cardinals arrive in the Queen City looking to snap a grueling 7-game losing streak that has seen their season derailed by a relentless wave of injuries. With Jacoby Brissett continuing to fill in for the sideline Kyler Murray, the Cardinals have relied heavily on youth, seeing a breakout performance from tight end Elijah Higgins even as their defensive front struggles to contain the run. Despite their record, Arizona has proven to be a dangerous out on the road where they have consistently played up to their competition and covered the spread with surprising regularity. When you look at the statistical landscape, this matchup features a Cincinnati team that is finally operating at high efficiency against an Arizona defense that currently ranks at the bottom of the league in points allowed. While the Cardinals may possess the grit to keep things competitive in the early going, the sheer firepower of a healthy Bengals passing attack combined with Arizona's depleted roster creates a significant hill to climb. Given the recent surge in Cincinnati's scoring ability and the Cardinals' ongoing struggles to prevent big plays, it appears the home favorites have the clear upper hand. Because of the explosive nature of the Cincinnati offense and the current state of the Arizona secondary, we are getting locked and loaded with the Bengals to cover. We'd love it if you left a comment with your favorite picks of the week. It helps our channel out a bunch. Thank you so much. As the NFL landscape settles into the second to last week of the 2025 regular season, a heavyweight clash with major playoff implications takes center stage at Bank of America Stadium. The Carolina Panthers, currently leading a tightly contested NFC South, prepare to host the Seattle Seahawks squad that has transformed into a juggernaut as they hunt for the top seed in the conference. The Seahawks arrive in Charlotte as one of the hottest teams in professional football, riding a 5-game winning streak and boasting an offense that ranks third in the league in scoring. Sam Darnold has flourished within this high-octane system, consistently finding Jackson Smith to propel a passing attack that averages an incredible 12 yards per completion. While the Seahawks have occasionally struggled to separate on the scoreboard despite their yardage totals, their defensive unit remains among the elite, holding opponents to the second fewest points per game in the league. Their recent Thursday night victory over the Rams showcased a team that can win a shootout, but it is their top 5 road defense that makes them a terrifying opponent for any home underdog. Carolina enters this matchup with their own brand of momentum after a gutsy divisional win against Tampa Bay that solidified their standing atop the South. Bryce Young has displayed remarkable poise in high-pressure moments, leading multiple game-winning drives and finding a reliable security blanket in rookie sensation Tetairoa McMillan. The Panthers have turned their home stadium into a fortress this season, posting a strong record both straight up and against the spread when playing in front of their local fans. However, they face a significant challenge this week as they navigate injuries to their offensive line, which could prove costly against the Seattle front that excels at creating pressure. When you look at the betting trends, Carolina's 16-8 record against the spread over their last 24 games proves this is a team that consistently outplays expectations. While the Seahawks may have the statistical edge in passing efficiency, the Panthers hold the advantage in red zone scoring and recent defensive consistency at home. In a game where every possession will be magnified by divisional playoff implications, the ability to run the ball and avoid turnovers is paramount. Because the Panthers have found their identity as a resilient home underdog, and the Seahawks could be due for a hangover game after an emotional Thursday night win. We are getting locked and loaded with the Panthers to cover. And now we head to Music City, where an intriguing cross-conference matchup takes place at Nissan Stadium. The New Orleans Saints are bringing their late-season surge to face a Tennessee Titans team that finally found its footing at home. Both squads are playing their best football of the year despite being out of the playoff hunt, making this another battle of pride and momentum. The Saints arrive in Nashville on the heels of an impressive 3-game winning streak that has seen their defense transform into a nearly impenetrable unit. Under the direction of rookie head coach Kellen Moore, the Saints have allowed just under 15 points per game during this stretch, culminating in a dominant defensive masterclass against the Jets where they surrendered only 6 points. Offensively, Tyler Show has developed a lethal connection with Chris Olave, who is coming off a massive 148-yard performance. While the New Orleans rushing attack remains statistically near the bottom of the league, their ability to move the chains through the air and rely on the leg of Charlie Smythe has made them a very dangerous out and a favorite for bettors, having covered in 5 of their last 6 contests. The Tennessee Titans enter Week 17 with a renewed sense of energy after shocking the Kansas City Chiefs and snapping a historic home-losing streak. The #1 overall draft pick in Cam Ward has brought a level of efficiency to the passing game that was missing early in the year, posting a high passer rating and showing great poise under pressure. The Titans have leaned heavily on the resurgent Tony Pollard, who has managed to eclipse 100 rushing yards in 3 straight games, providing the physical identity this team has lacked for much of the season. While the Tennessee defense has struggled with consistency throughout the year, their performance last week proved they can still stifle elite competition when their front 4 creates pressure. When analyzing the statistics, the decisive factor appears to be the elite New Orleans pass defense against a young Tennessee quarterback. The Saints currently boast a top 5 road passing defense, which is perfectly designed to neutralize Cam Ward's recent momentum and force the Titans to become one-dimensional. While Tennessee has been strong against the spread at home lately, the Saints possess a significant advantage in yards per pass, differential, and a defensive unit that has specialized in creating turnovers in hostile environments. We are getting locked and loaded with the Saints to cover. Don't forget to smash that like button. It's totally free. Thanks. Now we descend upon Huntington Bank Field for a high-stakes divisional showdown between the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Cleveland Browns. The narrative tonight centers on the surging Pittsburgh Steelers, who have transformed their season with a blistering 3-game winning streak. Led by the ageless Aaron Rodgers, this offense is finally operating at peak efficiency and coming off a thrilling road victory in Detroit. The story of that win was undoubtedly Jaylen Warren, who gashed the Lions for over 200 yards and 2 explosive fourth-quarter touchdowns. Pittsburgh currently leads the division with a 9-6 record, and they arrive in Cleveland knowing that a victory secures the division title. Their defense remains a nightmare for opponents, ranking in the top 10 for interceptions and consistently creating short fields for their Hall of Fame quarterback. On the other side of the field, the Cleveland Browns find themselves in a difficult position at 3-12, but they proved last week against Buffalo that they will not go quietly. Despite a revolving door at quarterback between Shader Sanders and Dylan Gabriel, the Browns nearly pulled off a massive upset against the Bills. Cleveland's defense remains their greatest asset, particularly at home where they boast the #1 ranked passing defense in the league. However, the injury bug has bitten hard as star offensive tackle Jedrick Wills Jr. and receiver Cedric Tillman both left the last game with significant injuries. For Cleveland, this game is about dignity and the chance to knock their bitter rivals off the top of the mountain. When you look at the betting landscape, the historical trends paint a fascinating picture for this rivalry. While the Steelers have covered the spread in 9 of the last 13 meetings between these two franchises, they have historically struggled to cover when playing on the road in Cleveland. The Browns are just 6-15 against the spread over their last 21 games, yet they remain a dangerous home underdog, having covered 5 of their 8 home games this season. The odds makers have set this line just over a field goal in favor of Pittsburgh, a number that reflects both the Steelers' talent and the gritty nature of an AFC North battle. After weighing the playoff motivations and the offensive efficiency of the black and gold against the injury-depleted roster of the home team, the choice becomes clear to us. We're getting locked and loaded with the Steelers to win straight up. For our next contest, we zero in on the Jacksonville Jaguars, who head into Indianapolis as one of the hottest teams in the AFC, riding the wave of a 6-game winning streak that was punctuated by a dominant victory over the Denver Broncos. That win, paired with the Colts loss on Monday night, officially punched Jacksonville's ticket to the postseason for the 2025 season. Trevor Lawrence is currently operating at an elite level, leading an offense that has averaged nearly 40 points per game over the last 3 weeks and already owns a convincing 17-point win over this Indianapolis squad from earlier this month, while the Jaguars have struggled at Lucas Oil Stadium in the past. The current version of this team is chasing the #1 overall seed and shows no signs of slowing down against the division rival. They have dominated recently, covering the spread in 10 of their last 12 meetings. The Indianapolis Colts, meanwhile, are desperately clinging to their season after a crushing defeat on Monday night that pushed them to the brink of elimination. While the Colts technically remain in the hunt, they are facing a catastrophic injury situation that saw them lose 3 starting offensive linemen in a single night. This creates a massive challenge for their backfield as superstar Jonathan Taylor, who has been a force with 17 rushing touchdowns this season, must now find lanes behind a patchwork front against the Jaguars defense that has specialized in shutting down the run. With the quarterback position in flux and the roster reeling from a short week and a mounting list of inactive players, the Colts will have to rely on their strong 8-2 home record to try and play spoiler against the surging division leaders. Despite the pride and resilience typical of an Indianapolis team at home, the disparity in health and recent performance is staggering. Jacksonville enters this matchup with a plus 19-point scoring differential over their last 3 games, while the Colts have surrendered an average of 34 points over that same stretch. The Jaguars are not just winning, they are overwhelming opponents with a balanced attack and a turnover-hungry defense. We believe the Jacksonville Jaguars will maintain their playoff form and exploit the injury-depleted Colts roster. We are getting locked and loaded with the Jaguars to cover. For our next matchup to analyze, we head to Hard Rock Stadium in Miami Gardens, where the stakes couldn't be higher for the visiting team in this late December cross-conference clash. Tampa Bay Buccaneers arrive in South Florida with their season on the line following a devastating loss to the Panthers that stripped them of their division lead. For Tampa Bay, the math is simple. They must win to keep their NFC South title hopes alive. The yards per point metrics show a highly efficient offense that maximizes every yard gained, but the defense has been embarrassing as of late, surrendering over 25 points per game over their last 3 outings. Quarterback Baker Mayfield has been the definition of gritty, playing through a litany of injuries to his receiving core, but he must cut down on the costly interceptions that plagued him last week in Charlotte. Across the field, the Miami Dolphins are essentially playing the role of spoiler. With a 6-9 record, they have been mathematically eliminated from postseason contention, yet they remain a dangerous out at home. The big story in Miami is quarterback Quinn Ewers, who showed real flashes of brilliance in his debut last week despite a lopsided score against Cincinnati. The Dolphins' offense still boasts incredible speed with Devon Achane, who leads a rushing attack that averages nearly 5 yards per carry. While Miami has struggled against the spread recently, they possess a positive turnover margin and a home field advantage that has seen them win 8 of their last 12 games in the heat of South Florida. When we dive into the betting trends, this matchup presents a classic clash between historical dominance and current momentum. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers have absolutely owned this rivalry, winning 6 of the last 7 meetings and going a perfect 5-0 against the spread in those contests. However, the current reality is much bleaker as the Bucs have failed to cover the spread in 5 straight games. Contrastingly, while the Miami Dolphins have historically struggled against Tampa Bay, they are respectable 4-4 against the spread at home this season and have seen the over hit in 10 of their last 14 home games. When you weigh the Buccaneers' desperate need for a win against their current inability to cover large numbers on the road, the play becomes clear. Tampa Bay may have the veteran experience and the historical edge, but their defense is currently too vulnerable to lay nearly a touchdown on the road against the high-speed Miami offense looking to end their season on a high note. We are getting locked and loaded with the Dolphins to cover. Our next game to break down is a classic AFC East rivalry where the New England Patriots continue their road trip to take on the New York Jets at MetLife Stadium. Though the 2 participants are trending in completely opposite directions, the Patriots enter this game as one of the hottest teams in professional football, boasting an 11-1 record over their last 12 games, fresh off a resilient victory against the Ravens in Baltimore. The Patriots have solidified their offensive identity behind the emerging stardom of Drake May and the veteran reliability of Stephon Diggs. New England currently features the top-ranked road passing attack in the league, averaging nearly 269 yards per game through the air. While they are dealing with minor injuries to their offensive line and rookie backfield, the Patriots' efficiency is staggering, ranking 8th in overall scoring and 7th in total defense. The New York Jets, conversely, are mired in a season of historical frustration. Sitting at 3-12, the Jets have struggled to find any consistency under center following injuries to both Justin Fields and Tyrod Taylor. Their offensive output has plummeted, as evidenced by a 6-point performance last week in New Orleans, where they failed to reach the end zone entirely. The Jets now possess the league's least productive passing offense, averaging a meager 121 yards per game at home. While Breece Hall remains a dynamic threat on the ground, he faces a New England defense that ranks 7th in the league against the run, making for a difficult afternoon in the trenches. When examining the power stats, the yards per point differential tells the story of 2 teams in different tiers. New England maintains a negative differential, meaning they require very few yards to generate points, while the Jets' defense allows points at one of the highest rates in the league, ranking 30th in overall scoring defense. The mismatch in the passing game is particularly glaring, as New England's top-ranked aerial assault faces a Jets team that is surrendering nearly 30 points a game over their last month of play. The spread is a massive number for a divisional road game, but the current state of these 2 rosters suggests a widening gap. The Jets are struggling to protect the football and keep their defense off the field, while the Patriots are playing for seeding and momentum heading into the postseason. New York's inability to score touchdowns combined with New England's tendency to finish drives makes a blowout a very likely outcome. We are getting locked and loaded with the Patriots to cover. Before we get into our first afternoon matchup, we wanted to take a moment to thank all of our viewers and subscribers. If you made it this far and haven't subscribed yet, please hit that button. We appreciate your support. Our next matchup is a battle of the bottom feeders, as the 2-13 New York Giants travel to Allegiant Stadium to take on the 2-13 Las Vegas Raiders. While the records might suggest a game with little at stake, the implications for the future of both franchises could not be higher. The Giants arrive in Las Vegas coming off a brutal offensive showing in a loss to the Minnesota Vikings. Rookie quarterback Jackson Dart struggled immensely under pressure, managing just 33 passing yards in what was the lowest output of his young career. On a side note, the fantasy managers that chose to roll with Dart in the fantasy playoffs suffered immensely for that coaching decision, finishing with negative points. And now back to the game at hand. The primary concern for the Giants is the health of their front five. They finished last week missing 60% of their starting offensive line. Without left tackle Andrew Thomas and center John Michael Schmitz, this offense has looked completely stagnant. On the defensive side, the Giants are surrendering over 170 yards on the ground per game on the road, which is a massive red flag heading into this matchup. The Las Vegas Raiders are also mired in a losing streak, but they showed some real grit in a narrow 2-point loss to the Houston Texans last week. The veteran presence of Geno Smith has stabilized the huddle, and he has found a reliable workhorse in rookie running back Ashton Janney. Janney is coming off a massive 128-yard performance and looks poised to feast on a New York defense that has been a sieve against the run all season. Defensively, the Raiders have been much more disciplined at home, and they currently rank 8th in the league in home rushing defense, which should help them neutralize any attempt by the Giants to establish the ground game. When we look at the historical trends, the home team in these late-season matchups between struggling squads covers the spread nearly 58% of the time. While the Giants have historically performed well against the spread in the series, the Raiders have won 4 of the last 5 meetings at home. Las Vegas is finding some offensive rhythm at the right time, while New York is decimated by injuries at the most critical positions on the field. Given the Giants' inability to protect their young quarterback and their struggle to stop the run, the Raiders have the clear physical advantage in the trenches. We are getting locked and loaded with the Raiders to cover, with a lean on the over. Our next game to survey is a late-season heavyweight clash with massive playoff implications as the 10-5 Philadelphia Eagles travel to Orchard Park to face the 11-4 Buffalo Bills. With the Bills opening as slight favorites at home, this matchup presents a classic contrast in styles and health heading into the final stretch of the season. The Philadelphia Eagles enter this contest with all the momentum after clinching the NFC East title last Saturday. Their formula remains rooted in a dominant ground game led by Saquon Barkley, who is fresh off a 132-yard performance. While the Eagles have dealt with some minor scares to Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown, both stars finished their last game and appear ready for the cold weather. Historically, the Philadelphia Eagles have been a nightmare for Buffalo, winning 5 of the last 6 meetings and boasting an impressive 10-4 record against the spread on the road. Their defense, which ranks 3rd in the league in scoring, will be the ultimate test for a Buffalo offense that is currently showing signs of wear and tear. On the other side of the field, the Buffalo Bills are fighting through a wave of late-season adversity. While they have been nearly unbeatable at home with a 16-1 straight-up record in their last 17 games in Orchard Park, their efficiency has dipped. Star quarterback Josh Allen is currently dealing with a sore right foot that limited his mobility in a narrow win over Cleveland, and the team is monitoring the health of key weapons like Dalton Kincaid and Deion Dawkins. Despite these injuries, the Buffalo Bills still rank 4th in the league in scoring offense, and they possess a superior passing differential. However, their defense has struggled against the run, ranking near the bottom of the league by allowing over 140 rushing yards per game, a glaring weakness that plays right into Philadelphia's strengths. When we look at the data, the Buffalo Bills hold a slight edge in yards per pass, but the Eagles have been far more disciplined and efficient in the red zone, where they rank 1st in the league. The weather forecast for Sunday in Orchard Park calls for rain and winds up to 15 miles per hour, conditions that typically favor a strong rushing attack and a stout defense. Given that Buffalo is only 2-4 against the spread in their last 6 home games and is facing an opponent they have historically struggled to beat, the trends point toward a very tight contest. With this in mind, we are getting locked and loaded with the Eagles to cover. And now we get into our last game on the slate. A Sunday night matchup that has the Chicago Bears arriving in the Bay Area fresh off a dramatic overtime victory against the Packers. A win that not only kept their 7-1 hot streak alive, but placed them on the verge of clinching the National Football Conference North title. Caleb Williams has shown incredible poise in his rookie campaign, particularly in late game situations where he has leaned on veteran DJ Moore to move the chains. While the Bears have been a revelation on the road this season with a 5-2 record against the spread, they face a daunting challenge entering Levi Stadium without their dynamic young receiving duo of Rome Odunze and Luther Burden. Chicago's offense has remained resilient, but the historical data weighs heavily against them in this venue, as they have managed to cover the spread in only 2 of their last 11 trips to the Bay Area. 49ers are arguably the most complete team in football right now, having just secured their own playoff berth with a dominant 48-27 victory over the Indianapolis Colts. Brock Purdy is operating a historically efficient offense that has remarkably gone 2 full games without a single punt, and Christian McCaffrey remains the focal point of a unit that is averaging 37 points per game over their last 3 outings. There is some concern regarding star tight end George Kittle, who is nursing an ankle injury after a massive 100-yard performance on Monday night, but the Niners' depth has proven more than capable of filling any gaps. San Francisco has been a juggernaut against Chicago in recent history, boasting a 15-7 record against the spread in their last 22 meetings, and they are currently riding a perfect 5-game winning streak both straight up and against the spread. This matchup features a clash of 2 elite power units, as Chicago's top-ranked road rushing defense looks to stifle a San Francisco ground game that is always a threat to break open the game. However, the statistical edge in the passing game belongs to the 49ers, who hold a significant advantage in yards per pass differential against the Bears secondary that has shown some vulnerability on the road. While the Bears have been excellent as underdogs this season, the combination of their missing offensive weapons and the 49ers' relentless efficiency in the red zone creates a difficult path for the visitors. San Francisco is playing for the #1 overall seed and home field advantage throughout the playoffs, and their history of dominance over Chicago at home, winning 9 of the last 11, is a trend that cannot be ignored. We are getting locked and loaded with the 49ers to win straight up. That wraps up another breakdown here on Locked and Loaded Sports. If you enjoyed the content, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, leave a comment, and turn on notifications so you never miss out on the latest sports analysis and betting insights. More picks, more locks, and more action is coming your way. That's all for now. Stay sharp, stay ready, and get locked and loaded